So before, I was looking at regular notation, or just a standard form, to scientific notation. Now we're doing the opposite. So if the exponent is negative, we're going to move the decimal to the left. The exponent is negative, we're going to move the decimal to the right. The exponent is positive, we're going to move the decimal to the right. Okay, so I start here, and I'm going to write this somewhere else, that way I have room, and so that you can see. So the exponent here tells me it's positive, so I'm going to move this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because there are humps with nothing in them, we've talked about this before, what do I need to add in those humps? What number? 0. So I'm going to put a 0 in every single one of those places. And then I'm going to write that number and add my comma. Same thing here. I start with 3.8. This number tells me, because it's positive, that it's going to move to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I add zeros to the humps. And then I write my numbers. This one I write 4.2. Because it is negative, I'm going to move it left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Add my zeros. And if you want to add a 0 before the decimal, that's fine. If you want to leave this as is, that's fine. Okay. Looking at the next one, same thing. I start with 7.51. And because it's negative, I'm going left. And because it is an exponent of -5, I'm going to go 5 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to add my zeros. I'm going to put my decimal in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 5, 1. Okay? And that is what you should have. Okay? I agree. Going from scientific to regular is a heck of a lot easier. But that's a-okay. Let's do some practice at the bottom and get a little bit more comfortable with it. Okay? So let's start with the regular notation to scientific notation. Looking at this number, where do I want my decimal to be? Between which 2 numbers? The 4 and the 5. Good. Where did it start at? Right here. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. So my base is always going to be 10 here. And because I started here and went left, it's going to be 4. I put my times, and then this is going to be 4.5. Okay? For this one, what number do I want it in between? The 9 and the 0. So I put it here. Where does it start at? Here. So I move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have 10 to the positive 6 times, and you could either put 9.0 or just 9. Either answer is perfectly fine. If you are getting tripped up with the left and rights, look at it this way. Thinking about going from scientific notation to regular notation, to go from 4.5 to 45,000, do I want to make my number bigger or smaller? Bigger, so I need an exponent that's positive. Same with the second one. Okay? Now let's look at a couple more and then I want you to practice on your own. So right here we have 7,450. Where do I want my decimal? In between the 7 and the 4. Where is it right now? After the 0. So that's 1, 2, 3 humps. And keeping in mind, you keep every number until you hit all those zeros. You keep every number until you hit all the zeros. And then it's almost like you are rounding. Okay? Now this one, where do I want my decimal? Between the 3 and the 7 is exactly where it needs to be. It starts here. We already have one. That makes it a lot easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But to go from 3.78 to this decimal number, we need to go negative. So this is going to be -5. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. Where does my decimal need to go? After the 5. And it is being moved 2 times, so it's going to be -2. Okay, I want you to try the second half of this on your own. Let me know if you need help.